Guys, so I hope you had a good week and that you're looking forward to a good weekend. I am looking forward to a nice slow weekend of nothing but sewing, and I did have a good week. And what really made it extra special is that I had gone out to pick up some lunch at work. I forgot to bring my lunch to work, so I had to go out and get some. So I'd placed my order, and I'm kind of sitting at a table, waiting for my order, and I pull out my phone to just start scrolling and checking everything. And this gentleman walks up to me and he goes, "Excuse me." And he said it in a tone or in a way that at first I thought he was going to ask for like directions or like, "Excuse me, do you know where the napkins are? Or do you know where I can find?" But what he did do, now this was an older gentleman. I would probably say late 60s, maybe early 70s, I don't know. But he walks up to me and he goes, "Excuse me, now I'm not trying to be fresh." And it took me a minute to kind of remember that phrase, because that's a phrase that I have not heard in decades. But he goes, "I'm not trying to be fresh, but your dress is absolutely beautiful." And who doesn't feel great when they get a compliment on what they're wearing, and especially when it's something that you have made yourself? And what I was wearing that day was my Cashmerette Pembroke dress. Now, I'm sure he was absolutely enamored with this beautiful, vibrant fabric that I have. This is a cotton jersey that I got from Style Maker Fabrics. And the Pembroke is basically just a t-shirt or a t-shirt dress with this tie in front. And it adds a little bit of waist shaping. And what I love about this fabric is, one, it's in my color palette, so I do think it complements me. But it kind of gives off fall vibes. You have your olive green, your orange, but you have this ivory background. So even though it's kind of giving off some fall vibes, it still kind of has that, it's not fall yet, I've got some white in here or some ivory in here. And I think it's just a great dress or a great fabric to kind of usher in the season. Because, it gives off, as I said, the fall vibes, but it's still something that you can wear, while we're still having temperatures in the 90s. In fact, we had temperatures in the hundreds this week. So yeah, felt good getting the compliment. Didn't think he was being fresh. And just made me like the Pembroke so much more that I plan on making another one. And I'll get to that in what my plans are portion of the video. So I don't know about you and summer and August and all, but I was crazy busy in August. Crazy busy. And the Labor Day weekend was probably the busiest I've ever been. I just had so many obligations that weekend. So I didn't get a lot of sewing done. I did get some done though, and I thought I'd share it with you. One was another Style Arc Palmer dress, which, guys and gals, if you don't own a shirt dress and you're wondering what you should sew, or if you're wondering what your next project should be, I highly recommend the Style Arc Palmer shirt dress. Now, I made one in a white linen, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I loved it so much that I went ahead and made another one. I'm actually wearing it today. I hadn't planned on it, but again, you wake up, you need something to wear to work. And this I made out of this cotton gauze, or a double gauze, excuse me. It's a double gauze. It has olive and a taupe background and then kind of a dark gray or dark blue accent. And this is another fabric that I love as well, because I think it gives off fall vibes, but because it's a double gauze, it is still comfortable to wear when our temperature is 105 or 90 or whatever it's going to be. So again, it looks like you can kind of usher in the season. You look like you are ushering in the season, but you're not wearing, heavy, dark clothes that make you sweat and that are uncomfortable. You're still cool and collected, but you're just kind of a little ahead of the season. So, I'm being silly, but yeah, that's kind of what I thought, and that's what I like about these fabrics. The other thing that I managed to complete, and I don't know, it was maybe 2 or 3 videos again, 2 or 3 videos ago, I wanted to make a vest or a waistcoat. And in my mind, I was thinking more of a really fitted one, you know, that you can wear sleeveless just as the top, you know, with a pair of shorts or even with a pair of pants. And I kind of had 2 patterns that I was going to look at. One is the Merchant & Mills waistcoat. The other one was the Pattern Scout birch vest. Well, I did manage to complete my Merchant & Mills vest. And it is just an absolute beautiful vest. It is definitely not the fitted vest that I can wear sleeveless, but I made it out of, I think they call this their vanilla linen, their 185 linen, which is just beautiful. I used their buttons. Oh, getting a blur there, I'm sorry. I think, is it their nut, or not nut, shell buttons, I think, I don't know. And then I used a lining, a China silk lining that I had in my stash. Now I gotta say, I really do enjoy making this, and I think it's a really well drafted pattern, because let me show you part of it here. I'm gonna turn it inside out. Because look at the inside. They have this spacing that connects to the lining. Can you see that? It just makes it really nice, and then it comes down here at the bottom, and you have this really nice clean finish here. So yeah, I really like the construction and the instructions on this. They do say that the Miller vest kind of takes its inspiration, or it kind of mimics the a men's workwear vest, so it's slightly boxy and a little bit oversized. Dog's barking. So even though I made it at a size 16 at the shoulders, I did grade to an 18, but I even ended up taking it in a little bit more at the side seams as well. It still is a boxier vest, and the armhole is, you know, sort of big, and I raised it up a little bit too because I knew that it was a little bit low, but it doesn't really lend itself to wearing it sleeveless with nothing underneath. So this will definitely be just a traditional kind of vest, kind of a topper or something that you want to wear over a blouse. And actually, because it kind of has this sort of boxier, sort of menswear vibe, I was kind of thinking, because I'm thinking, what am I going to wear this with? Because again, I'm not creating orphans. I refuse to create or sew a bunch of orphans again. So I kind of had in the back of my mind kind of that 1930s paperboy look, you know. And when I was researching what they wore, what a 1930s paperboy would wear, they actually weren't wearing waistcoats or vests. They were more wearing suspenders. But I think though, hold on, doggy wants in. So I think I'm going to pair this with a pair of brown pants, you know, and then a sort of a oversized, not really oversized, but a looser shirt that I can roll up the sleeves, and maybe even make some sort of faux tie or something. I don't know. I can definitely see what I'm trying to communicate to you. I don't know what you're seeing based on what I'm saying. And, you know, unfortunately, I have this really just uncanny ability of being able to see what I want to make, but not know how to bring it to fruition. You know, so we'll see. But I'll keep you posted on my progress with my 1930s inspired paperboy look, or 1930s paperboy inspired look. Now, I wanted to make the Pattern Scout birch vest almost simultaneously with that, but unfortunately when I got the files, I wasn't able to open them. So I've since gotten files that I can open, and I am going to make the one that is definitely more of a fitted vest that you can wear sleeveless. In fact, one of my friends, Jane from our Zoom Sewing Circle, she made one in I think a pink twill. And it looks just spectacular on her. As soon as I saw it, I'm just like, oh, I need to make it. So definitely I have some green linen set aside there that I want to make the birch, Pattern Scout birch vest with. That is on my list to do as well. So that's sort of what I did last week. What my plans are this week, I had mentioned in my last video that I have 8 patterns for fall that I want to make. And the first one I plan on making is the McCall's 8148. And let me see if you can see that number there. McCall's 8148, these trousers. Now I'll really go more in detail as far as the fitting and the adjustments that I make on my Tuesday videos. I'm going to keep my Tuesday videos pretty much focusing on those 8 patterns and the progress that I'm making on them. But of course, everything gets an update on the Friday sews. So I did manage to get a toile completed. And I have to say, I didn't put the zipper in. It just didn't make sense to put in a fly zipper on a toile that I knew wouldn't fit. I knew that going in, so I do have to make some adjustments. But I have to say, just in making these, I think I'm really going to like this pattern. I'm speechless. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, you know, I've been struggling with the Merchant Mills 101 trousers, and I think what a lot of that is my body just does not fit. As much as I love their aesthetic, I love the Merchant Mills aesthetic, but my body does not fit their sloper or their you know, their pattern. I'm just not made for that. So I'm highly optimistic about these McCall's trousers. So I made my first toile here, wrote down the adjustments. Somewhere I have them. Oh, yeah. Wrote down the adjustments that I need to make, and so I'm in the process now of adjusting the pattern, you know, doing the adjustments on the pattern so I can cut it out again out of more muslin, see if those adjustments work. This is my guess. I mean, it would be great if I could just do those adjustments, put them on, and voila, they are the perfect pair of pants. But I think once I get those on, I'm still going to have to do some fine tuning. So I'm thinking 3 toiles and then hopefully a pair of trousers out of the fashion fabric that I want. And then as I'm doing that, I also want to work on another one of my 8 patterns, and that was a camisole. And I have 2 patterns, the Ogden Cami and then the Cashmerette Avalo or Avila. I think it's the Avalo Cami. And I think I'm going to make one out of each pattern because I want to compare the two. And I was planning on making a couple of camis anyways because they are just terrific layering pieces, you know, to wear underneath a camisole or a jacket. And then as a layering piece, you know, in the winter when it gets cold and you want, you know, more insulation and more warmth. And since I can make them out of different colors, you know, that'll go with my wardrobe, I'm thinking, yeah, let's try one out of the Ogden, one out of the Cashmerette Avalo. So that's on my plans as well. And because I got a compliment on my Pembroke dress, I decided to go ahead and make another one of those. Only this time, the fabric I want to use, it's going to be like a red. That's one of my colors that I want to use. Like, I did my colors a while ago. And last season, I did a lot of olive green, gold, you know, mustard, gold, browns, and then an ivory. And this year, I want to throw in some red. I think I can show you. This kind of red is one of my colors. And so I went ahead and ordered some fabric from knitfabrics.com. So put a little something here or there so you can see. It hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, I want to go ahead and make another Pembroke. As I said, easy to make, easy to wear. And this was my thought. Let me know if you're interested. I thought I might do a live sew along on Sunday, September 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And just go from beginning to end sewing it up because it is a really easy sew. I'm thinking I could either do that or we could do like a live Zoom where we're all sewing together. So if you're interested in making the Pembroke, let me know. You can send an email to thepollysews22@gmail.com. Yeah, and that'll be Sunday, September 22nd, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So you have plenty of time to get the pattern if you don't already have it, and plenty of time to find some fabric if there's nothing in your stash that you want to use. Now, as far as life goes, I kind of have mixed emotions on this because my daughter did move out to Southern California to go back to school to get her master's and her registered dietitian's designation. So I'm sad that she's gone and she's moved, but I'm glad that the spare bedroom is now usable. That was where I stored my stash and a lot, so when she moved back in, I have fabric all over the house. There's some in bins underneath my sewing table. There's some underneath my cutting table. There's some in my bedroom in drawers, some in my closet. I don't even know where all my fabric is, but now that I have her room available, I think I can set up a couple of machines in there and just, take advantage of that space. So, sad that she's gone, but glad that I have more space for my sewing, for my hobby. And like I said before, I'm just really looking forward to things slowing down, to getting back into my routine, and I definitely see and plan on making more time to just sew and sew and sew.